Hi, Happy New Year. I'm recording this video for the What's New in Poetry series on Real Pants. And I'm going to be reading from a manuscript in progress called L'Heure Bleue, or the Judy Poems. These are all in the voice of a character named Judy. There are certain points in time I have found in my life that everyone remembers. It is not just me. This was one of those points. We had crossed into November. I spoke of my desire. I said desire, but I meant longing. Desire is despair with sex mixed in. A crossing of levels. We drew overlapping circles on the inside cover of a paperback novel, The New and the Interesting, A Narrow Eye. After dinner, dessert, and then another drink, and then I touch myself if I can't fall asleep. Always the need for some final pleasure. Afterwards, I lose all interest in sex. It is not intellectual. I wonder if hares are bored all the time and terrified of death. The day after Christmas, a late morning walk. Otherworldly mist over the foothills. A family of geese, startlingly beautiful when quiet. Damp earth. When it's damp, it feels like earth, not ground. Black feathers. Black ruffled edges of some kind of tarp under the landscaping. Most fossil fuel does not come from dinosaurs, but sea plankton. All of these facts, garbled by Jack in the first place, and now half remembered, surfacing at random. True randomness is rare, though, like pockets of air. Nostalgia is the only cure for nostalgia. Listen to old jazz singers, remember old lovers, literally ad nauseum. That'll show me. I wanted to be one of those austere beauties who end up with some neurotic man who thinks he has to drink to relax and is yet more irrational after 2 Manhattans. They didn't kill me, but they made me meaner. The day the torture report comes out, Jack can't suppress a smirk. He seems to enjoy this dark energy. I didn't read the report. I assume it involves descriptions of people being tortured. A boy I knew in college at 22 was already worried his mind was going. He was working on some kind of algorithm. He wore orange blossom cologne, said it calmed him. The neighbor's black cat is posing in the window again, a pure silhouette. Whether something strikes me as obvious or profound depends entirely on my mood. Is that true? In the too bright performance space, I stare at a girl's hair, its gleam and wave, and want nothing more from life. No other forms of beauty. Boredom trumps everything. I start to cry and then get bored. I excuse myself to the mirror, abhorrent. I like Dickinson's face, but not her poetry. What I like or don't is boring and a tyranny even to me. I would say to Jack, "What do you want?" But what I meant was, what do I want? What do I want? Am I the sea? Am I the sea, or do I hate the sea? Am I befallen? I feel befallen. I once imagined dropping my keys down a grate and it's sharp as a memory. For a week, Jack calls everything magic. That's magic, he says. It's magic. He's crazy, but I agree. It's Shakespearean. There are messages and some twigs and bits of trash on the step. The pigeons who are always together. 3 of them. A conspiracy. Whose pigeons? Whose magic? Lately, before bed, I hear voices, muffled, overlapping, like messages on a worn-out tape. I look up auditory hallucinations. I read an essay about aura, the premonition of a migraine. Of course, I think, the suffering that comes before real suffering. Trivial in retrospect. They are asking questions, but not for me to answer. I'm the third person. One fact about Jack. He had music playing all the time. Being distracted makes some things more interesting. I would try to see him with my side mind. Tracing the caning on the backs of the chairs. If I'm bored, at least I'm thinking. Why do I always have to be there, though? In my thoughts. Dreams are like a movie, just watching strangers, but intimately, quiet and apart. I want to know what anyone thinks about all the time. Adorno's famous line about poetry after Auschwitz was meaningless out of context. Jack would oft remind me. To quote Adorno after Auschwitz is barbaric. Once over dinner, I misheard my father, and ever after have referred to Jack's violent moods. In the late afternoon, coming out of the library into mean winter light, not bright but in your eyes, he would place his hand on the small of my back, and all was forgiven. Why is it I can't simulate the feeling with my own hand? That sudden warm blue.